these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up.
This is perhaps the greatest opportunity for us to invest in, bar none, if we want to give back to our kids and to help them to grow.
My granddaughter comes to the camps all summer and she's very enthused about it, and that really makes me feel good.
Shepherd's Hill started back in 1994. Was shortly after my first wife had died that we decided to move back to North Dakota and acquired the property, and wanted to begin the retreat center. And the farmstead was available at that time, so that's what we purchased and started everything that was happening at that point. Really part of a dream that was much farther back in my history, being part of the North Dakota District Youth Program back in the late 80s, early 90s. We had been all over trying to find space for camps and such, and just had a desire to have a place where we could schedule the dates we wanted and have facilities that we could offer more than just a couple of weeks during the summer of camp for the kids. There were more and more needs for buildings at the original Shepherd's Hill site. We did a master site plan with our board of directors. That site plan told us kind of what we wanted for the next 40 years. And we knew that the next building we were going to build was going to cost us about $1.2 million, just guesstimates. Well, it was about 2 weeks after we had decided to go with phase one of that project that we found out Crossroads was for sale for way less money than what we would spend on the next building. And so our board got together and said, you know, this is just kind of a no-brainer. We looked at the site and walked through a couple of the buildings, and they said, you know, this has just got to happen.
The first time that I saw the retreat, I took my daughter up there. I just think when you've got a core group of friends and they're Christian, what more could you want for your child?
It's one of the most stunning camps, I believe, that I've ever seen because of the log buildings, the wooded setting, the lake contained within the camp.
We are privileged to have just some very, very beautiful scenic areas to work with.
It's a wonderful setting for that ministry to take place.
A phenomenal facility that will give us the opportunity to impact young people for generations to come.
So we can
learn about God and Jesus.
And we can make a whole bunch of friends while we're learning. You don't get to do this every day.
It's a gospel-centered ministry. And our children need, young adults as well, need to hear the gospel good news proclaimed to them in a way that they can understand it clearly and in the camp setting, because it gives them then the opportunity to not only hear about God the Creator, but also see that creation.
Kids are going here and there all the time. The parents are running after children. This is a great place to get away.
Because it is affiliated with the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, why would you not want to support something that was going to spiritually uplift and encourage your child?
With the site being offered for sale at Crossroads, of course, the luxury of time was not ours. And so we decided to go ahead and get a mortgage that would carry us until we could raise the funds for it. And so now we're in the midst of that capital campaign to basically pay off the debt of $700,000 for the purchase plus a few incidentals. So we've got an $800,000 campaign going right now.
The Generation to Generation campaign will succeed through the generous gifts from individuals, families, and congregations. Campaign gifts can be completed over a 3 to 5 year pledge period and can be contributed in cash, marketable securities, commodities, and other assets. Your generous support will bless the lives of thousands with Christian ministry from generation to generation.
What a great opportunity. It's just like God slapped us up alongside of the head and said, you want outdoor ministry, here it is. And we just need to get that word out as quickly as possible.
And it's important that we, as the local congregations that are closest to Shepherd's Hill, it's important that we do what we can to support that, to make sure that it thrives and doesn't just survive.
It's almost as if God's asking us to become heavily involved up front so that we can get this thing going quickly. And to do that, frankly, we need you to become involved. And for those people that can contribute financially and commit to that.
I'm devoting our finances, and because I believe that, number one, Shepherd's Hill is going to need the finances to get going and to keep going. And once Mark and I are not able to enjoy this facility, I want this facility to be able to support itself so that our children and the generations that come after us are able to do that.
I would invite anyone who has the least question about whether or not this is something that they could support to visit the camp, to talk to one of the board members, to talk to me. I'm very enthusiastic about this site, and I'm very enthusiastic about the ministry that goes on there. And I would be very interested in convincing you to make it part of your planned giving.
You know what my biggest fear is? That through this whole thing, we're going to forget to ask somebody if they want to be a part of this. And if that happens, that is a shame. So Kay and I have committed to working as hard as God will allow us to see that we leave not one stone unturned.